Loyakk's up. Loyakk's team is highly experienced and has enterprise software DNA honed at top-tier software companies, including SAP, Oracle, IBM, and VMware. Salim is a sought-after speaker on blockchain and its impact on enterprises at events worldwide. Suresh drives the vision, strategy, and roadmap for Loyakk's product portfolio, building on his leadership positions at SAP, TIBCO, and Delphix. Take it away.
Thank you. That's a very energetic intro here. He's tired after the whole day. So thank you, guys. My name is Salim Ali. I am the CEO of Loyakk. And I'm sure you guys have listened to a bunch of pitches today. So I'll try to make it short and leave some time for Q&A. We'll drive it that way. So I run Loyakk. And what we're trying to do is very simple. Allowing enterprises to follow their data anywhere beyond their company boundaries. So follow your data. That's what we're focused on. We're calling it a category called ERM. Not CRM, not SCM, not ERP, Enterprise Relationship Management. So keep that lens in mind as you go through the dialogue. If you're familiar with the application stack, it may be obvious, but if it's not, I'll try to unpack it as we go along. So this is the team, and as you can see from the logos here, we live and breathe enterprise software. That's all that we do. SAP, Oracle, Siebel, VMware, IBM. So our thinking is very focused on enterprise applications. So we're taking blockchain and adapting it to enterprise. It's not fintech, it's not consumer, it's not protocol. It's at the application stack. That's what we're doing. Our advisors are our customers as well. I'll get into that in a second. Pretty much very large, very thoughtful, very well-known entities in the broader software space. So what are we really trying to solve? It's a very simple problem. Companies today all over the world share data outside their firewall, outside their company. And they do it for many reasons, with their channel partners, with their design partners, with their customers, all of that. And do you know how they share that data today? 99% is on email. And the remainder 1% is on old school applications. So what happens if you do this way? You lose sight the moment data leaves your firewall. Because we are stuck in a world of 1990s intranets. My intranet, your intranet. There's no transparency across an intranet. What we're saying is put a blockchain fabric. Transform how data moves. The current model today, given that you have no transparency, leads to three big problems. IP leakage. Data leaves my firewall, I send it to you, I don't know what's going to happen. Could go anywhere. Number two, there's no single source of truth. Multiple copies live across multiple streams. And lastly, you can't do compliance for data. Because guess what? I don't know where the data is. It's gone all around. So that's the downside of today's model. So what we're saying is that if you talk to customers today, this use case is consistently showing up. I'll mention three examples. I was talking to Palo Alto Networks. You may know who this company is if you're from the Bay Area or in security broadly. Today, they share data with a bunch of partners. I can't tell you what data, but they share a bunch of data. The biggest concern is we don't know where the data is going. It's a liability issue, it's a risk issue, it's a security issue. Nissan, another very large company in manufacturing, automotive. Nissan works with 120 partners every day designing cars. No surprise. They share data, design data, very sensitive, 4-year plans, or file transfer and email. The CIO is telling us, can we have a global dashboard just to see where my data is going? Not possible today. Lastly, Zurich, the largest insurance company on the planet. Insurance business is a very complex network business. Brokers, underwriters, service providers, data is flowing outside, completely chaotic, no transparency. And why is this happening? It's a very simple reason. Well, it's not simple, but to us it's kind of simple in concept. The reason for this is data today sits across multiple islands. In public cloud, in private cloud, in SaaS clouds. If you're in the high-tech space, you'll probably get some of the nomenclature here. Or company data is flowing across corporate boundaries. It's a bad combination. You have no transparency, which means you can't track data, which means you can't drive revenue faster, you have huge compliance issues, and the huge cost to do compliance and reconciliation. So what we are doing is building a platform to really transform how enterprises collaborate and share data across company boundaries. Company boundaries are irrelevant, doesn't matter. Blockchain fabric is the fabric under which you can track everything. We are using the notion of a tokenized data container. Our token is a data token, a token that can hold enterprise data. And you can put permissioning on top of the data token. If I send something to you, you can say it's meant for you, you can read it, you can share it. If you don't share it, I know. If you share it, I know. Number two, it means you can have full traceability now. And lastly, it's a single source of truth. Now, take this example here. If company A is sharing data with another party, this company can share data here. They are not in the middle, but they know it's being shared because it's their data. Now, all of this is done with the magic that we call the Loyakk token. It does three things. It does permissioning, meaning who has access to it, number one. Number two, what can you do with it? And number three, what have you done with it? That's how we look at the lens of enterprise data. Now, let me clarify though. When we say data, it's not just files. That's one component of the data context. It has the business rules and context and the commitments. So a data object in our world is what a business uses in their daily rhythm. The file, the business context pulled from CRM and ERP and other applications, and the contract that they have, the commitments they're making, the SLAs they have in place as well. That's how we define the data stream. That is tracked through the notion of our Loyakk data token. This is an eye candy slide, but it's an important slide. We've been building this for the past year and a half. And guess what? We took version 1 to our customers and said, hey guys, would you use it? It doesn't have all the DL pieces, the blockchain pieces right now. We said, guys, here's a use case. Do you believe in use it? Guess what? 5 multi-billion-dollar companies signed up, and they're paying us today to use it today. SAP, Infosys, Abbott Labs, Novartis, and Mphasis. They are our pilot customers today. So the need is there. And these are paying customers. We said no free pilots. We will only do the deal if you put some skin in the game. Now they're working with us on version 2 of the DL distributed ledger technology, which will be out by the end of Q4. We've patented the notion of a nested blockchain. Today, blockchain is very linear. What that means is that each node is a replica of the other node. What that means is it's a very heavy data-centric model. We say for enterprise use cases that is too onerous, too heavy, let's apply a tree structure, which is how we can scale a blockchain. That's what we're doing in our use case. I was in China, in Beijing, 3 weeks back, and we are presenting to a partner who's going to present this to a customer of ours, a potential customer. ZTE is a handset manufacturer. You may have heard of them in the news. A lot of trouble because they share data with someone else they're not supposed to. And ZTE can't prove otherwise, that the data did not go to some place, some country, some individual. If they had a platform, they'd be able to track where the data goes across channel, across companies, across partners all over the world using our data token. Not just that, they say, listen, we know it went to SF. Let's double click and go down. Well, it went to office number 1, 2 people saw it. It went to office number 2, 3 people saw it, and it went to another partner. So this line of sight is not possible with today's tech. It's not. So we said, let's take blockchain fabric, distill the elements of what can be used for enterprise and package it up. That's what we're doing. It's built on Ethereum. It will be as a public chain with private zones created on public chain, in our chain rather. Our revenue model is very simple. It's platform licensing plus usage. The enterprise licenses the platform, they pay a license fee upfront, depending on the number of nodes they want to create. And then they consume interactions. Each time you send something A to B, it's an interaction. You pay for that. So it's a SaaS plus licensing model applied using a token structure. And the vision is that over time, the whole ecosystem vibrates and hums using a token because consumption is happening. A customer does 10,000 a month, another may do 1 million a month, and over time, it will just increase. That's how we look at the world. This is a very important slide to understand. This is how the token economy is structured. Enterprises pay licensing, and they use consumption models to consume and pay. We log them into a token capacity attribute so that the pricing doesn't go up for them within a given year if the token price goes up and down. So we log it. So it buffers them from the vagrancies of the token exchange for a year. Our tokens are used, we recycle them back into the exchange. Because a token is used, becomes inactive, comes back to us, we recycle it back. When we recycle it back, 10% goes back to the founding partner program. Our early adopters, investors who are part of the program get 10% back every quarter. That's how it's been designed. Because therefore, they need to get some benefit of our customers using it. So this is how the token economic is supposed to work. You can look at this market sizing from multiple angles, right? And we looked at it from 2 ways. If you look at the 4 big buckets of enterprise apps, SCM, ERP, CRM, and collaboration, engagement can be carved out and a whole new category created. And we believe the market is roughly around $9.2 billion is what we believe the market is, which is roughly around 5% of what Gartner believes the broader pie is. We think this is our space to play in. There's probably more, but I think we are happy contending with this space for now. This is our go-to-market model, how we're going to make money. One, it's a licensing model, platform and token. Number 2, we're going to roll out industry packages for primarily now for high tech, manufacturing, insurance, and health. That's our 4 sectors. We're enabling services partners to build on top of it. So a service partner can take our solution to a very niche industry that they're working on, and we enable them to do that. Lastly, we are also launching a developer program for ISVs, other software providers, to build on top of our stack and take it to an industry we'll never go to. Retail, we may never go to retail. For aerospace and defense, we may never go to aerospace and defense. So how will they go there? That's what we're doing there as well. This is a roadmap. We started building this in 2017. We have version 1 today with 5 customers being used. They're paying customers. We hope to launch version 2 with the DL, the ledger layer, by December. We minted a token, the token definition out there. We filed 2 patents as well. And the broader roadmap is here. You can look into it. I can send you slides anyway. This is our tokenomics. Again, the structure is defined. How we're going to use the money is defined. You can look at it. It's easy to understand. We are right now in the public sale for another month and a half. That's where we are right now. The private sale is going in parallel and is based on the amount of investment made. So the different bonus structure for the bigger investors. We also have, given that we are Silicon Valley based, we cannot hide the fact that we're also doing an equity raise as well, but with very selective funds. Because there's no reason to do an equity raise, but there are a couple of funds who want to talk to us for an equity raise because they don't know how to do tokens. They're not that savvy or they can't for governance reasons. So we're doing an equity raise with a couple, maybe 2 or 3 funds. So that's an option. It's worth a dialogue as long as the need is aligned on both sides. So that's pretty much the summary. Huge market. The team has run multi-billion-dollar businesses consistently across the globe, from SAP to IBM to Oracle Sable. We have pilot customers. This is going to go live in Q4. And guess what? Gartner, you may know who Gartner is, published a report 2 months back on blockchain. And they mentioned our name. And we called them and said, how did you write about us? Well, we talked to one of your customers. And Gartner doesn't write about small companies, especially doing ICOs, because it taints the brand. But the fact they wrote about us is very intriguing for us. They did not tell us who it was, but we kind of have an idea. Jonathan is on advisory board. Fabulous feedback. Leslie is also an investor in us as well, who's an EVP at Time Magazine. So what I did is I tried to run through this a little fast. That leaves around 5 to 7 minutes for Q&A. So let me pause now and give you guys a chance to answer questions, delve deeper, or anything that we want to talk about.
Great presentation. Questions?
Can you walk me through, like, I've got a Word document, how do I share it using your platform so that it's tracked?
Yeah. So I'll go back to one thing I said before, which is the broader context includes documents, the business context, and SLAs, i.e. business contracts. So let's take, in your case, a simple Word doc, right? When you're sharing a Word doc,
I can put it in context. So I've written a Word doc or I am Nissan and I've got my PDF and I want to send it, and the PDF is a blueprint to have a part machined, and I want to have the part machined by my machine shop. So how do I send that as a Nissan, plant manager to my machine shop to have that machined?
So that use case is slightly different from what we are doing in Nissan, but let's take that forward anyway. So when you just said a couple of important things. One is sharing some document with them. That's one. Second, you're also saying a commitment. I want this done by X amount of time. Thirdly, also adding a pricing component to it as well, right? Based on whatever reason to. All that has to be encapsulated with the data in question so that they don't go in silos. So you will drag and drop this object into a UI. It goes under the covers into a token. You don't care. It's a token underneath the covers. You really don't care. You don't care it's blockchain. You drag it. You say it's meant for John at ABC. And you attach commitments to that. I need this by XYZ in a smart contract. You don't have a smart contract. You just mention a date. There's the requirements. And it needs to be, ABC needs to be done as well. Doesn't matter what the ABC is. You push the button. Underneath the covers, it ends up in the UI for John. John opens it. You know John's opened it. You know what else John is doing with it. Are you allowing John to share that with someone else? If you say yes, if you have said yes, the moment John shares, he can share, no problem. You can go and audit that anytime. So that's the model it has to flow. Document plus business context coming together, you permissioning who is meant for, sending it across, and John taking it and using it, and then acting on it, all fully transparent to you through our user interface.
Yeah, makes sense.
Thank you.
But can you not lose track of it if John downloads that document?
Yes, so a couple of points. You can allow downloads.
You can restrict.
You can restrict them. You can also revoke it as well. You can also say after a point, John shouldn't have access, so you revoke it.
But he has.
That if you allow him, right? So that's a call you have to make as a business, right? Do you allow him or not? So here's the interesting point. Leaks happen, that's not the problem you're solving, but leaks happen typically because you don't even know who has it because it's gone through multiple hops.
Right.
Number two, even if you know who has it, you can't revoke it. So the moment you shine a light that you have it, your behavior changes automatically. That's how it's done consistently.
Hey, I wanted to ask a question. I work at an investment bank, and so we use data rooms, like when we're executing like a financial transaction. Would that be a problem that your system would be able to solve?
So we are talking to the largest investment bank in New York 2 months back. The name starts with a G. So same fundamental problem. A lot of deal information goes out. Multiple parties come in. They use data room because that's the only thing they can do right now. So they all have to come in, sign in, download, and that's how we take it record. So this will completely transform all of that. With the data room, virtual room concept goes away. Data flows. You track it, that's what matters. So that's exactly a use case that we talked about. In fact, they brought the use case to us. Same use case.
Do you watermark it like a data room? Because I've been in data rooms and it's like, so-and-so downloaded this file. It's over under file.
So the reason with that thinking is that, right, we get stuck in the nomenclature of files. Meaning, collaboration is a bigger concept than files, right? And the room is still a very old school model. You come to a room that's outside your workflow. It lacks the business context. It lacks the SLAs that you have in there. So because file is anchored in the destination file thinking. It misses the business context, misses the SLAs. So that's how you got to rethink it. And without blockchain, it's very tough to do. You cannot do it. How will you put a common fabric across? You can't. You essentially build blockchain again. Replication, security, all of that comes together. That's how we looked at the problem. What else can I answer? So good. My contact info is probably in the material somewhere, I'm sure. If it's not, it's salim.ali@loyakk.com, salim.ali@loyakk.com. So you can definitely look up there. Our website is loyakk.io. A bunch of stuff is published there anyway. You can look at it. If at any point you want to talk to any of our heavy hitter advisors, we can arrange that as well. That's not a problem. We are talking to about 10 charter customers for our version 2. Nissan I mentioned, Zurich, SAP, Infosys, Emphasis, Volkswagen from China, and 2 other companies I'm not supposed to talk about as well. So we have 10 customers who are going to be validating our version 2 in the December timeframe.
And all these customers are at the pilot stage.
Now, the 5 of them in the pilot phase, we can't consume more than 5 right now. We have another 5 identified to make it 10 for go live. We want to consume in baby steps, not do it. The version 2 will be live in the late December, early Jan timeframe. We already have written about 420,000 lines of code already over the past year and a half.
So is the only way to view documents, that's still through your user interface?
Correct.
Okay.
We'll frame it through a application of ours. So you want to chime in? Suresh runs product for us. Do you want to just clarify that? Or?
Yes, so it depends on the use case, but primarily yes, that's the notion is we give you a container, an environment that allows you to do the document and then you want to do that.
So maybe this is a naive question, but why is that different than a data room that an investment bank might use?
So blockchain and our solution allows you to do everything that the data room does, right? But it doesn't constrain you to just working in the data room. Other thing that happens is when you talked about collaboration, right? And when you share a document, there's dialogue going on around the document, right? There's the comments are being made, not necessarily in the document itself, but there are the different participants. You have the program manager is communicating with the project team. There's a whole lot of other things that happen around the document, right? So our platform captures all of that. So it's not just, again, I think that's what Salim was alluding to earlier. Don't just think about it as a document or a piece of data. It is everything else that goes along with it, right? So we are able to do all of that and give you a view that allows you to take a look at how that data, where it originated and who looked at it, blah, blah, all of the standard things that you can, but also what's the business context around it, when was it created, what is the business process that resulted in the creation of it, what is the business process that resulted in it being shared. Because the same piece of data might be relevant to different entities and different business processes, depending on what that data is, right? So one example is, if you talk about the manufacturing process, you have your design partners who are working with a certain set of documents, and then you have your OEM manufacturers who are working with a different set of specifications. They all need to make sure the entity needs to make sure that all the different participants have the right documents and they have the right versions of the documents. It's a single source of truth that does not exist otherwise. But some documents may cross boundaries, right? Some documents may be relevant to different types of partners as well. Okay? So you need to be able to manage all of that, to give you that full visibility into what is your footprint of the data and the business context around it.
I think the simple way to look at it is very simple. Data rooms germinated and live in a file modality. That needs to be completely unbundled. Files are not how you do business. That's one part of how you run business. There's a business context, the discount you give to a partner, the SLA they're signing up for, all that can be brought together. Otherwise, you're asking people, hey, I got a doc, but tell me the other stuff is not in here. Can you pull data from CRM? You can't into a data room. It's very, very difficult. So think of it holistically. The file is one component of it. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. Any questions, just ping me. Thanks again for the time.